Yo guys, today I'm back with another video, and today I'm doing a revision helpful video. So I actually took my exams last year, and I know they'll be very different this year and in the future, but I just wanted to do a video to help you guys out if you need help, generally are interested in how I revise. Also, I found these videos really helpful when I was doing my exams, so I thought it would be helpful to you guys if you wanted to do it, and I'm no expert at this, it's just that I took my exams last year. Back in my old filming setup, my cat's asleep on my bed. I've refilmed this intro about 1000 times and it's currently getting dark. But anyway, we're just going to roll on with the video, let's go. So, I wrote a list on my phone of the things I roughly did to help me revise. So, how I usually revise for exams is with maths, I could practice before. So with maths, practice and revise as early as you can, because with maths you can always be revising. Whereas with other subjects you have to remember things, like maybe science. I personally, when I revise things best if I do it like a week before and start learning it every day and then just keep repeating it in my mind. That is personally how I remember things best. So I don't do, if I'm trying to remember something, I'm not going to do it all a month before because I'll probably forget it. But I'm not saying don't revise, because I'm saying revise. Personally for me, I don't often revise for something that I need to remember unless it's like a week before. But if you're doing something like maths or something you can revise for, I mean, maths you can revise for any time, whereas something like English or something where you've got to remember a story, that's just using your mind to remember. So you could do like exercises, there is probably on YouTube, that help you remember things, like turning flashcards over and that. And the other way that I also revised was that I did flashcards. Now I did this for each subject. So in biology, say for science, I had biology, chemistry and physics. So I did double science, not triple. So I had like additional core. So I would have done 6 lots of flashcards, and then there was about, I don't know, 4 or 5, I think 5 or 6 maybe flashcards, about this big, double-sided. And what them flashcards would do, they would literally, how I created them, you can find loads online obviously, but I just personally wanted to make my own. You can get the little flashcards off Amazon or in Smith's, they are cheap on Amazon. And basically I went through the books, which I don't actually have with me. I don't have half my revision stuff anymore. But I went through the book, so say it was like part 1, part 2 of the biology part, and I would write down notes which I thought was important, or which I felt that I needed to remember. Basically the most important, so if it was like an equation or something, I'd write that down and then I'd know that I needed to remember that, basically. So that is how I would do flashcards. So I just squash all the information onto the flashcards. So I'd take the most important parts. So I wouldn't necessarily write a whole sentence. I'd literally write something that I would remember it by. So say if it was like an equation, I would obviously write the equation. But say if it was like what is a meaning behind something, I wouldn't write the meaning behind blah blah blah. I would just write it is, and like the name, and it equals. So that is basically how I did it. If you have anyone that could help you with flashcards, like my mum helped me a lot during my exams. She helped me, she tested me. You've got to find someone that can test you. Whether they test you from the book, we would sit in the garden after I've been to school, and she would sit and like ask me questions, go through the book and ask me questions. There is sometimes questions at the science book that your parents can just easily ask you without having to think of them, but my mum would like pick out something and like ask me the question. She'd like reverse it, so it'd be like, this is the, and she'd be like, what is the? Revision books. Now, don't get me wrong, some revision books are really good, but some of them have far too much information for your brain to remember. I know the English books for like Christmas Carol and that I found really helpful. I was actually supplied them by my school, which I obviously had to give back, so that's why I don't have them. And one of them my cousin has, which is obviously fine because she's doing her exams this year. And yeah, basically the science revision books are also really helpful. Maths, not so much. For maths, all my revision, I could have done more revision, but all my revision was done on Maths Watch, and my maths. So mainly Maths Watch. Maths Watch is an amazing site. I really recommend asking your teachers about it if you don't already have an account with your school, because it has videos and tells you exactly how to do it and like what grade they are. It's so easy. It gives you tasks. We got set homework a lot on them. My favourite thing, so much better than my maths, in my personal opinion. So it's like Maths Watch at VLE or something. VLE, yeah. And I really recommend you guys using that. But I know your school have to like pay for it, so I'm not really too sure how that works. I was supplied it by school. And then also other things is online, most people have access to the internet, and YouTube is massive. Like YouTube, you can get so many videos, and so many videos that are done by teachers. Make sure it's like UK. Make sure that you get your specification, because obviously there's AQA. I looked up a lot of AQA geography videos I found really helpful, or things that help you remember it. So some things like, for example, me doing my theory test, I can find things that the signs, road signs, I've put into a song. So it's like I'm not gonna sing, but there's lots of things like that. And YouTube, and also finding other YouTubers. Now, a few of the YouTubers that I actually watched when I did my exams. Now these aren't all of them, but one of them was Unjaded Jade, because you guys might know of her, you might not, but I will link her channel down below. She had some really good helpful tips for like staying on top of your work and making sure you're calm and relaxed, and how to like go into an exam. So more about your mindset as well, rather than just your revision. So I found that really helpful, because it would be like put yourself into a mindset of you're going to do well rather than a negative mindset. I also found that her videos are really helpful, because obviously she got like all A stars I think in her GCSEs, and she sort of explained and broke down things in like science and English that I didn't necessarily understand that well, or she like broke down what I needed to have. And then also the other person I watched is Eve Bennett, and her revision channel was also really helpful, especially for English, because she just helped me so much, because English was my weakest subject, and she really helped me with that. Honestly, I would not have got the grades I did if I hadn't have done my own work and my work outside of school. If I hadn't have had her YouTube channel, I personally don't think I would have passed English, because she gave lots of helpful tips. Like she went through like exam papers, like language exam papers, and would explain, like she'd just like explain them like as simple as like that. I will link her channel down below as well. I can't really explain any more than that. Like you'll see what I mean if you go on her videos, but I just found them so helpful, because she'd like show you how to get a good mark. She'd show you what like how to do it, and like I always found that if I had an English exam, I would look up some really fancy words. So I knew the words that I use a lot, like and there and all that sort of stuff. So I'd look and so and if, and also I'd look up other words for them, so they were more like advanced words rather than the basic words like and, because I'd look up more complicated words and then write them down on my flashcards, so that I've got some really good words in like grained in my brain, and I could use this for all sorts of different things. I also made sure that all my coursework was done as soon as possible, so I didn't rush this, but it just meant, because I had iMedia, music and photography coursework, and because I made sure I would stay after school, I'd go in lunchtimes, I'd get all that finished to the best standard I could, so that when my exams came round I was focused on my exams. I got all my coursework done, and I got that to the grades and that I wanted, so that I could just focus on the exams, and that is purely the best thing to do. You want to be as prepared as possible, but not like over prepared that you're stressed out. It is also very much about your mindset and your perspective and how you deal with your exams. So I also properly didn't start revising until about February. So probably after Christmas, in fact, is when I actually started being serious and thinking, right, my exams are in a few months, I need to get revising, and I would try and put in a few hours each weekend, and I'd work quite hard towards it. Obviously in school you revise anyway, and then yeah, just apps. But I know BBC Bite Size is a really brilliant app for helping you with flashcards and everything. There are so many good apps and YouTube videos and websites that you can use to help you with your revision. I can't stress that like enough. Like honestly, ask people around you, your teachers. Just don't feel embarrassed to look for help, because if you want to get good grades, then you need to ask people how they did something. So if you don't understand something in maths, don't just sit there and not say anything, because that's not going to help you. Make sure, even if you don't want to put your hand up in front of everyone or don't want to speak in that moment, maybe find the teacher at lunchtime or after the lesson and say, I just wanted to ask you a bit more about this because I'm still not that sure about it, and they can give you some help rather than not asking them at all. Also, I wrote out a calendar, so you would have seen this calendar in my vlogs, and it was like a monthly calendar of the times, the end of May to June. And basically what I did in this calendar is, it had like Monday to Friday, it was like a revision one. If you type in Google, I got it off Google, revision calendar, and then I put in all the days my exams were and the times and that, and if they're on the same day, and then as it went past I just crossed them off, and then I was like, you know what, I've got 3 left. And overall I think I had about 20 exams maybe. I can't actually, was it 20? So I've actually come to edit this video like a few weeks after I actually filmed it. I actually filmed this quite a while ago, but I just haven't got around to editing it. And I filmed it quite a while, and since then I've also thought of a few other things that I wanted to add. And I also really want to apologise for the quality of this video, because I'm really sorry if it's not that good, because I had to make it quite a lot lighter, because I actually filmed it at 4 o'clock and it was still quite dark in the evenings. It wasn't as light as it is now, and I also used natural lighting, and where my windows are, it was coming from like this side, so like this side of my face is like lit up and the other side isn't lit up, so I had to make it lighter, which means the quality is not as good. And the other 2 things I wanted to say is, it's also really good to make sure that when you're doing your revision, so I would come from school maybe and I'd have a break, and I'd do like an hour revision, then I'd have dinner, have a break, do some more revision. I think it's really beneficial and really helpful to make sure you have them breaks, because otherwise, or even if it's like, I know when I'd be having a weekend, say I would do revision obviously all weekend, but what I would do is my mum would take me maybe out for lunch or out for a hot chocolate or something, just so that you can like get out or have a break. So even if it's just going for a walk or visiting your nan for like an hour or something, just make sure you do have that, whether it's half an hour, 15 minutes, even 10-minute break, literally. Just make sure you aren't just constantly revising, because it's really good for you. Even if you do like 10 minutes of exercise, it's really beneficial for you to refresh your brain, have a drink, have a snack, watch a bit of telly and take your mind off revision, and then you can go back to it with a fresh mind and then revise a load more. Also, the other thing is, for my exams, for like English and that, I would just keep going over things, and as boring and as repetitive as things like that are, sometimes with revision you just have to keep reading the book, keep reading your revision book before you go to bed, when you wake up. Just do things like that and keep going over it, and then you should be fine. So I really hope this video has helped you guys. It's just my personal experience. It's just a few tips. It's not everything I did to revise, but it's just to help you guys out if you need it. Obviously I know exams are coming around. They come around so quickly and they go so quickly. Like, I count down the days. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want more videos like this, then please feel free to comment and let me know, and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye. To help you and show you guys, well, I'm just going to talk you through the list. I can't speak today. I can't, what?